I never thought betrayal could wear the face of someone I once called family. You know, when you get older, you think the worst storms of life are already behind you. You bury parents, you raise children, you lose friends along the way, and you tell yourself that what's left, what you have left, is your family, your blood, your grandchildren, your safe place. But I learned the hard way that sometimes the knife doesn't come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the very hand you once held as a child. I should probably start at the beginning. My name's Margaret, though most people just call me Maggie. I'm a grandmother, a widow, and someone who thought she knew what loyalty looked like. But the story I'm about to tell you, my story, it's about how I nearly lost everything I had. My home, my dignity, even the bond with my grandson. And how, piece by piece, I fought to take it back. Now, I wasn't always a fighter. I was the type of woman who cooked too much at Christmas, who sent birthday cards even when no one remembered mine, who let people take the bigger slice of cake. That's who I was, until life backed me into a corner. Until Amanda forced my hand. Amanda. Pause. Even saying her name now makes something heavy sit in my chest. She was my grandson's mother, my late son's wife. After my son passed away, she was all I had left to connect me to him, and to my grandson, Daniel. For years, I bent over backward to help her, babysitting, paying bills when she fell behind, co-signing loans because her credit wasn't good enough. And every time I told myself, it's for Daniel. This is so he has a stable life, but I should have known. I should have seen the signs. Amanda wasn't the type to ever say thank you. She was the type to take and look at you like you were still holding out on her. The mortgage was the breaking point. She came to me one afternoon frantic, saying she and Daniel might lose their house. She needed me to co-sign the mortgage. Just to help us qualify, Maggie, she said, her voice all sweet honey that I later realized was poison. I promise I'll make every payment. You won't ever have to worry. And I believed her. Lord, I believed her. I signed those papers with my shaky old hands, thinking I was protecting my grandson's home. What I didn't know was that Amanda had no intention of keeping up her end. Months later, the letters started coming. Thick envelopes with words like default and foreclosure. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Then I saw it, my name, right there on the debt. My credit, my house on the line. And when I called Amanda, she brushed me off like I was an annoying neighbor. Double quotes. Oh, stop worrying, she said. I'll take care of it. But she didn't. She never did. Do you know what it feels like to sit in your kitchen at 72 years old, staring at a stack of papers that say the life you built might be ripped out from under you? To know that all the sacrifices you made, all the pennies you pinched, could be gone because someone you trusted signed your name into ruin? It broke me. For weeks I barely slept. I walked the house at night, touching the walls, the photos, the old rocking chair in the corner, wondering if soon strangers would be walking through with a realtor, deciding if they liked my curtains. And the worst part, I didn't see my grandson anymore. Amanda cut me off. She stopped answering my calls. She told Daniel I was stressing her out, that I was being dramatic. I went from seeing that boy every weekend, his messy hair in the mornings, his laughter over board games, to nothing. Silence. My son's only child. The last piece of him I had left. Gone. Pause. Heavy sigh. That was the lowest point in my life. I thought about giving up. Just letting it happen. Losing the house, losing Daniel, fading quietly into the background like so many old women do. But then, one morning, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of cold coffee, and I looked at a photo of my son holding baby Daniel, and I thought, no, not like this. He didn't fight to give his son a life just for me to roll over now. That was the day I decided I wasn't going to be Amanda's victim. I started small, research, phone calls, trips to the library. I dug into the mortgage documents, line by line, and then I found it buried in the fine print. Forged signatures, altered numbers, things I hadn't noticed the day Amanda rushed me through signing. She hadn't just tricked me, she had committed fraud, and that changed everything. I brought the papers to a lawyer. He was a young man, barely older than Daniel, and I could tell he didn't think much of me at first. Just another frail grandmother too scared to fight. But when I laid those papers down and showed him the discrepancies, his eyebrows shot up. Double quotes, Mrs. Carter. He said slowly, This is criminal. And for the first time in months, I felt a flicker of hope. It wasn't easy. The legal battle stretched on for over a year. Amanda fought dirty, of course. She cried in court. She painted me as some meddling old woman trying to steal her son away. She lied over and over. And there were nights I went home and cried too, because I wondered if anyone would believe me. If the truth even mattered anymore, that I kept showing up. Every hearing, every deposition, I was there. I wore my best coat, I held my head high, and I told myself that even if my voice shook, I was going to use it. And slowly, the tide turned. Evidence piled up. Amanda's lies tangled themselves into knots she couldn't escape. The judge began to see her for who she was. And the day came when the gavel came down, and it was over. The mortgage fraud was exposed. Amanda was ordered to pay damages. My name was cleared, but the real victory? Pause, softer. That came months later. One afternoon, I heard a knock at my door. When I opened it, there he was, Daniel. Taller now, his voice deeper, but those same eyes, my son's eyes. He looked at me like he wasn't sure if I'd turn him away. And before I could say a word, he whispered, Grandma, I'm sorry, I didn't care about apologies. I just pulled him into my arms and held on tighter than I ever had. Because in that moment, I knew I hadn't just won a case. I had won back my grandson, and maybe that's the part I want you to take from this story. Not the courtrooms, not the legal jargon, not even Amanda's downfall, but the truth that sometimes, even when the people closest to you betray you, even when you feel abandoned and broken, you are not finished. You can fight. You can rise. And sometimes the family you thought you'd lost forever finds their way back to you. Pause, warm, hopeful, I'm still here. In my little house. My rocking chair by the window. But I'm not the same woman who signed those papers in blind trust. I'm stronger now, fiercer, and I know that even at 72, life can hand you a new beginning. So if you're listening to this, and you feel like you're at the end of your rope, let me be the voice that tells you, don't give up. Don't let them write your ending for you, because sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply surviving. That's my story.